Gundam.tk presents SD Gundam Age 2, Normal and Double Bullet. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs from GundamReviews.net, and you may be able to see here that there's 6 empty plates, which means 2 versions of the Gundam Age 2 and Super Deformed are all put together, and since they're approaching HG in quality, I'm going to take a look at all the individual parts here. According to the manual, you're supposed to build the normal first, and you can see all the parts there to go along with the single head. You'll be getting the hyperdods here, and a bunch of leftover parts that you're going to swap off to make this into the double bullet, to go along with the top of the head there for the Wave Rider form, and an action stand. To kick things off with the legs, you're going to see just 2 white parts here that are going to go together, a little bit of gray lining on there, and you're going to be putting a blue seal on the back. And if you're popping these on and off the hips, you're going to notice that sometimes the poly caps are going to be an issue there because they're going to stay in place. The feet themselves are just on a ball cap, so it's going to rotate, but just move all that, not all that much. You've got a blue heel on here and a blue front, and if you actually want to turn this into the double bullets legs, what you have to do is actually take off the foot here because they're only going to give you one of these main parts. Again, the poly caps, they should actually come off here because they don't give you enough poly caps to actually put them on both legs. And once you do that, you slide on this front part here for the red in the back. Notice that there's no seals here, but they do bother to differentiate there with the smoother ones for the normal compared to the blockier ones for the double bullet. When you look at the colors in this, it's hard to believe that this is an SD sometimes, although they're doing a great job, including with the AG, of getting these kind of colors in there. What you're going to be getting here, though, is that you've just got a big poly cap there, and then just a big gray piece in the middle that you're going to put this red part on. It's going to rotate around, but don't expect any waist movement there. This yellow part is just one piece that wraps around, and then this red part is a single piece that you put onto this large white one. But in terms of seals, it's a little bit disappointing that they didn't go with the white here. The AG was able to get that in plastic form. But on the other hand, the AGs, they don't move around, and this one does, and it's cool that you've got that Adidas striping, and you've got a little bit of flexibility. On the back, you're able to move this thruster up and down, and you've also got an attachment point. And again, these poly caps can pop off if you want to put this in, and it's great that they've got the attachment point for the action base. The chest is identical for the normal and the double bullet, but that's certainly not a bad thing. The only problem that I had is that these blue parts here don't seem to fit together that well, and that's on both of the ones that I've put together. So anyway, it just seems to be a bit of a design flaw unless I'm doing something wrong there. You've got the poly cap here, which is going to bend out if you put the shoulders in. If you pop the arms on and off, though, you'll notice that that's going to get a little bit worn, or so it seems. No colors whatsoever back there for the spoilers. You've got this part here, and even though I said that it's not going to move that much, it is going to rock a little bit off to the side, which is still pretty cool to see. The yellow part here is one piece when you put it together, a little bit of lining opportunities, and you can see a little bit of yellow there where you're going to attach the Dodge rifle. Still cool that they put that white part on the top, which is just going to seal things off, and a little bit of black lining here is going to go a long way. The color apps in here continue to impress me as well. First of all, you've got a big white piece here that you're going to plug it in, and actually separate blue parts here which detach from the top. But these parts here, you're not going to be able to move them at all. It would have been sort of nice if they had popped on a poly cap similar to the legs or something. At least you could rotate them around, because the Age 2, the way that you design or move those around is what's going to add to its appeal on your shelf. Over here, you've just got some pretty simple hands there, just one piece, and you've got these blue parts here, which you're going to swap off. Again, you've got to be a little bit careful that you get the poly cap out, but when you take this part off, you can just pop the hand off, and when you take this part off, you can plug it in, and then you're going to get the red cuffs on there. For this kind of look, which is really adding a lot of cool color variations. The shoulders, though, certainly don't look as complex as they do on the normal, but still they've got that blocky look which is suiting, and it's a ball joint here for the twin dods, so you can take this and you can pivot these around. It's a little bit stiff, but it's going to be able to move in and out about that much. Unfortunate that on the inside here you're going to have a lot of hollow pieces there, and you can pop this gray part off and put these in hand if you want, if you don't mind that, but that's not going to be seen if it's in the hands with their lack of height here for the SDs. But over here you're going to have 3 white stickers, a little bit tricky to put on this middle one, so you'll want to be careful with your tweezers or your Q-tips and your toothpicks however you put that on. And it's cool though that they add on that little bit of metallic sheen there in between. So you are getting lots of color apps, and from a distance I wouldn't say that it looks like seals until you get up close. But for the elbow, you're only going to be getting about a 60-degree bend, which is still pretty good for SDs. The only problem is that it just feels like these shoulders, again, can pop out at the drop of a hat. And it's worth noting that over here on the left arm, that this blue part and this blue part only is going to have a peg, because when you put on the shield, which is just going to be a big white piece with one blue seal, make sure that you line that up properly top and bottom when you put it on. The only thing is that I found about this is that it's very easy for it to interfere here with the binders, so you're not really going to see it either. It just seems slightly problematic. For the big gun though, they've gone suitably oversized here, and it's just going to be one massive gray piece there, lots of hollow parts underneath, but again, you're never going to see it. When you put this part on the top, you can't mistake the top and the bottom, and you're going to have to pop off this bottom part here when you plug this into the hand, and of course, this is designed to fit into the chest when you have it transformed into Strider mode. Which is going to have the bonus that you're not actually going to use the head of the Gundam, you're just going to use this little skull cap part here. And it is very similar to the regular head here, except that it's going to be missing those nice silver stickers. So they gave you one on that massive sticker sheet. You'd think that they could have thrown in two just so that you could get all the details on there. Then again, perhaps it would distract from the Strider mode, I don't know. But the camera lens is looking good. It's cut differently here for this one than the one that's on the main head. And you can see that things are a little bit different here. There's no red part there, but that should be covered up by the Dodge rifle when you put it in, so you won't really notice the lack of red. Would have been nice though just to have a red seal though, I suppose. And you'll notice that there's these little black parts sticking off to the side here. Which once we look at how SD Gundams live and die, yes, by how cute their head is. This has the serious eyes though, so it didn't go for cute here. You'll notice that as I was saying, they've got these little black parts that stick off to the side. When I was putting this together, I didn't follow the directions, and you actually put this front part on after the fact. You can, I'm not going to pop it off here. But anyway, there's nice raised areas, so painters, no problems at all getting that in. You've got a red piece under there, which is always going to look fantastic. But basically, I put the seals on the under part and then sort of sealed them in, so all of that excess black disappeared. But then again, I'm not unhappy to have it. I've tried it both ways on the two of them, and I decided to stick with this one on both. The camera lens is looking different here, but amazing that even with kits like 1/100th Exia not having this gray part around it, that you can do it here with the SD, and we've seen it with lots of other grades, including the high grade, always impressive. Black lining though is going to be pretty much required though if you want to make those ears come to life. And this silver seal, even though I was saying it would have been nice to have it on both parts here, it is going to be on a very rounded surface, which means it's not going to fit on all that well. They do give you some little cuts there and lacerations, so you can put it on with a Q-tip, and you can get it down pretty flat, but then again, as long as you're looking at the front, you're not going to notice any of the flaws there on the back or the sides. And they give you two sets of eye stickers, so you're free to choose between serious and cartoony. The extras include this action base here, which is just going to have this part, which can pop out, which is going to come into play. You'll notice that it's not circular though, so that you can rotate it around. You've got this part here, so you can either put it up like this if you want to put the figure on it, or this way if you need to. But what you can do is pop this part out, and you're going to be getting this part, which also has that little cutout there for the crescent moon. And then, if you have one of the wares on, so say you've got the normal on, you can take all the double bullet parts, and you can put those on there. Well, not the arms, you're going to need those. But it's sort of cool that they're going to give you a wear stand, and you're also going to be getting this part here, which is the last of the gray parts. And last and certainly least is going to be this beam saber here. You'll notice that there's a little cutout down there. But anyway, it is going to be flat with square handles there. It's going to fit no problem into the hand whatsoever. However, with Asim being the king of dual wielding, yes, it would have been nice if they had thrown two in one kit. But similar to the Titus, if you want the shoulders or the beam lariats, you're going to have to go for two if you want to get this guy being really super pilot. And some pink paint is probably in order. It was lots of fun though to put this kit together. I was really impressed with the way that you're getting these color parts there on the legs. The waist section looks great. The chest is going to look great. The binders, unbelievable that they've got those white color apps with the blue parts, extra parts on there for extra details to go along with the white and the blue. Lining opportunities on there. And actually the double bullet arms, they're actually looking pretty fun here, except for the fact that they're going to swing around. They're going to do that well if you can get past the fact that they've got a lot of seals. Probably my biggest surprise though is just how many parts you're going to have extra for the double bullet. You'd think that they would just give you an extra set of limbs that you could just swap on and off, but instead they decided to save some plastic and keep it all on 2.5 plates, I suppose. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. It's going to take a little bit of time, I suppose, to convert them as opposed to just swapping them on and off, unlike the Age 1. But why don't you let me know what you thought of these parts, and of course stick around for the next part of the review, where you'll get to see it all put together with both a happy face and a serious face. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. See you next time. The gauging building style of swapping the limbs on and off is going to be even more fun with all of these SDs and all of their infinite variations.